right, hello everybody. Hopefully you guys can see and hear me. If there is any problems, please let me know in the chat if you're watching this live. So today what I want to do, I want to talk to you guys about the most effective guitar practice that you can adopt into your daily practice habit. That's going to be the most effective, and it's going to give you, in my opinion, it'll give you the, you'll be able to make more progress faster with this practice. Now there are some other practices that I go through with my students, like in my beginner course that I have. I take students through a bunch of different practices that are all very useful. There's the clean chords practice, muscle memory practice, the strum pattern practice, and then the all-together practice. But there's this one in particular one that I want to talk about today, which is the launching point practice. And I'm going to kind of walk you through it in just a minute. But before I walk you through it, I want to explain the reasoning behind this practice and the thing that most people, when they're practicing, don't account for when you're practicing. And that is, it's not only important to memorize the shapes of a chord and to get really good at, the shape of a chord and getting the position of your fingers right to make sure that you get a good clean sound. You're pressing down, at the right spot on the strings. You're getting a clean sound from each string. That's important. That's great, and that's one of the practices that I teach in the course. But there's one other thing that a lot of people forget about, and they don't even think about practicing, and that is the transition between chords. So you can know how to play a G. You can know how to play a C add 9 very well. You can know how to play a D over F sharp very well. But when you're trying to play it in a song with a strum pattern and transitioning, moving from one of those chords to the next in less than one beat, getting from one chord to the next in less than one beat, that's where the challenge really comes in. And even though this shape might feel nice and familiar to you, when you're coming from, let's say, a G chord to the D over F sharp, it is a different kind of shape. You're moving your hand, this finger has to move all the way down here, and then this one has to move up. So you're coming from a different location than maybe you're used to, because you're used to just practicing the chord by itself. So you really need to practice chords as a family and how they connect to one another. And especially, I always recommend students to pick out a song. So you pick out a song you want to play, you find the chords that are in that song, and then you're going to practice the launching point practice using the chords in progression for that particular song you're trying to play. So the difference between this and just playing the song is that you're not worried about strumming. You're not worried about playing a rhythm on top of playing your chord progression. And you're not worried about how many measures your chord's lasting. You're not worried about any of that. You're trying to narrow down your focus. So your focus for this practice with the launching point is just to practice the transitions in the order that they appear in the song that you're trying to learn. Okay, so I want to give you an example, and right now, let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, so right now I can't share my screen for some reason. I'm having a difficulty with that. But I have in the description of this video, you can download, I've got two sheets for you. The first one is the chord chart for Amazing Grace. The second one is the launching point practice for Amazing Grace. Okay, so basically what you want to do is, let's say in this situation we're going to be learning Amazing Grace. Amazing Grace has just 3 chords. We're going to be using the G chord, the C add 9 chord, and the D over F sharp chord. Okay, so for that, that's all we're going to be needing to play. So one practice is just to play the chords. Practice playing those 3 chords, get a good clean sound from all of them. Okay, that's my G. I'm going to play a C add 9. Good. I'm going to play a D over F sharp. Okay, and that's great to try to just as individual chords, learning them as individual chords. Okay, and that's excellent. But the launching point practice is you're basically going to go from G. You're going to look at the song Amazing Grace, and in Amazing Grace we start on a G chord, then we go to C add 9, and then we're going to go back to G. Okay, and then from that G we're going to go to a D over F sharp, and then we're going to go back to G again. So we have those transitions from G to C, from C to G, from G to D over F sharp, and from D over F sharp to G. Okay, so that's 4 different transitions we need to make within the song. Okay, so we want to practice those 4 transitions, and we don't want to worry about what strum pattern we're doing. We don't want to worry about how many measures these chords are lasting. We're just worried about the transitions. So what I'm going to do is just take my G chord, and I'm just going to strum 1 time through all 6 strings. Make sure it's a nice clean sound. Then I'm going to transition to C over C F9, and I'm going to play that one. Then I'm going to transition to D. I'm back to G. That's my third one, second one. And then from G to D over F sharp, and then from D over F sharp to G. Okay, so I'm just doing one whole strum for each one of those chords. I'm not doing any strum patterns. Okay, and I'm just going to do that over and over again. You can try to speed it up as you get more and more comfortable. And this is the whole idea of this, is to get your fingers used to how it feels to go from this chord to this one to this one, and so on. You want to get used to how it feels to make that transition. Okay, so that you don't just have the chord memorized, but you have the transitions memorized as well. Okay, this is a huge step that people just forget about. They don't even try to practice it. They just go from trying to play a chord to trying to play the whole song. Okay, so this is a great practice that I use all the time, especially when I'm trying to learn some new bar chords or things. When I was trying to learn the song Autumn Leaves, there were some chords in there that were really, really difficult for me because I had never played them before. Some really nice blues chords. And so I use this practice a lot. Just practicing, I wasn't worried about the strum pattern. I was just practicing the chords individually and going from one chord to the next. And just getting used to those transitions and how it feels to go from one chord to the next within that song. Okay, so again, like I said, I can't share my screen, but I just wanted to show you. This is basically what it looks like for the song Amazing Grace. We have the 3 chords, G, C add 9, I just put C for short, and D over F sharp. But we can't forget that there's a transition from C to G. So we need to practice that transition as well. Okay, we're not just going to practice G, C, and D. We're going to practice G to C, C to G, G to D, and D to G. Okay, so there's 4 transitions there that we want to practice. And so that is the idea behind the launching point practice, and it's extremely effective in getting your fingers used to how to transition. Okay, let's see. Sorry guys, it seems like it's hard to hear. I apologize for that. Hopefully, let's see. Let's see if I get a little bit closer. Angela, you asked about the chord sheets, or I'm assuming you mean the cheat sheets that are associated with this lesson. In the description of the video of this lesson, there are links to the sheets that I just mentioned, Amazing Grace, and the launching point practice for Amazing Grace. So you can download those in the description of this YouTube video. Okay, and if they're not there right now, they should be. If they're not, after I exit this live stream, I'll go ahead and put them so you can check back after as well. Okay. All right, guys, I'm sorry. I apologize for the audio quality. Hopefully you guys were able to pick up that lesson regardless. All right, guys, I hope this lesson was useful for you. I hope you enjoy the cheat sheets, or the chord chart, the cheat sheets that I included here, and I hope it helps you out. All right, guys, I'll talk to you guys later. Y'all have a great weekend.